Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Joe Longo. This is 30 Days of Inspiration, and today is day 29. It's the last day. It's the last day of guests, because day 30 is me. And today, I wanted to share Amy Angelo, because we go way back. Way back. And you came up so many times. You can laugh. You came up in so many conversations that I thought it would be great to have you on. And you've been such a big part of me, that I really wanted to share the person that... I'm going to try not to cry, because I've been crying all day today. Amy gave me the gift of yoga. And Amy is my ex-wife, and I love Amy. I know it's crazy, right? Because how can it be? But it is. And I'm so thankful for really everything that you have given me. From when I was like, you're fucking crazy. Why? To, because literally when Amy started her yoga practice, she dove right in. She dove in and studied, and not just studying the physical practice, but studying all of it, Sanskrit and Ayurveda, and so much of it that I just wasn't ready for. So I was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. Where did Amy go? You're fucking crazy. And it probably caused a huge issue with us and our relationship. But it's one of those things that really it led me to where I am today. If it wasn't for that first horrible yoga class that you took me to then a couple weeks later saying, come try this Kundalini stuff, because it's crazy. And after the first class, I was like, I don't want any parts of this yoga. I don't. And it was more my ego, because I couldn't do anything. It was very boring. It was just a very hatha-based class, right? And I couldn't do anything. And my ego really was like, oh. And it was all my ego, because I couldn't do a side plank, and all the ladies were rocking out in side plank. So it was all my own stuff. I wasn't ready for it. And then Diana Vitarelli showed up at the studio and started teaching Kundalini yoga, and Amy took a class and then brought me, and I was like, I'll give it a try. I will give it a try. And I did, and everything started to change. So anyway, this is Amy Angelo. She is a yogi, to the truest sense of the word, and again, not just the down dogs. She is an amazing woman and has spent like the last 20 years of her life taking care of her parents. And her father just passed away in May, as a photograph fell down as I said that. So Jackie is apparently here with us as well. And I hate to say it this way, but I'm very excited to see what you now do with your life, that you're free. Well, let's first start with, tell us your journey about getting into the practice and then getting way into the practice.
Right. Okay, sure. So, well, thank you first for having me on your 30 Days of Inspiration, because you have actually served as a source of inspiration for me this past year, because I felt disconnected a lot. And, I had moved to Arizona, and I was just taking care of my father and not working, and it was challenging. But seeing all that you're doing, and this 30 Days of Inspiration is brilliant, so thank you.
Thank you.
But, yeah, no, you said I dove into the practice, but really, I think what had preceded that was my first class at Temple University.
At Temple University, right?
Yeah, Temple University. It was actually literally my first class in college that I took. It was the first class that I went to my freshman year. And I was a dance major, and so I just ended up taking yoga because I thought it was physical. And I thought that would, help me with my dance, and learned that it was so much more. So I took it again for a second semester. And the teacher who I learned was connected with Garland of Letters, and they had classes there in the basement. So I would go there for classes in addition to the classes I was taking at Temple. And I learned that, like, I would buy these books at Garland of Letters that were from India, literally from India, and they were in Sanskrit, and I couldn't read them, and I didn't know what they were saying or what they meant, but I would buy them because I liked the feel of the paper and the smell of it, and the pictures. I was like a child, but then many years later I could go back and now understand what those books are saying, to some degree. But yeah, so that's when it started, and then I found yoga on Maine in 2001 after 9/11, after having like a slight nervous breakdown of just crying and being depressed. I dove into yoga, and yeah, it's been a journey. Ended up teaching since 2002, so 16 years. Different studios in and around Philadelphia and the Lehigh Valley then, in the colleges, and I haven't taught since I've been in Arizona, but it's even been hard to maintain practice. But what I think is remarkable is that it shows up daily in different ways, even though, I'm not doing a physical practice. Mm-hmm. It might be through, something I read, or through Facebook, through friends and their practice, and just, gleaning inspiration from photos, from, it reminds me of who I am and my practice and my connection.
So along with the physical asana, you really enjoy the Sanskrit world.
I do.
And the sutras. And Amy and I would sometimes not argue, but have conversations, and I'd be like, we have to live in this fucking world, not in a cave. Like, we can't just sit in a cave and chant the sutras all day. We have to be able to function in the world. And I think if the opportunity was given to Amy, she could have hopped in that cave and sat there and chanted and chanted and chanted.
I probably would have then, but
right, yes.
Not now, and I'm thankful that opportunity didn't present itself. Back then, you're right, I probably would have taken it, but no, I feel like the study of the sutras makes life make sense, and it's the only thing that makes life make sense for me.
Right, and it's Kate and I talked about it. It is life. It's so many people, when you say the word yoga, they just think of the physical practice and the down dog, and not everything else that comes with it. And she will tell you, I was one of those people back in the day that was like, oh well, it's just yoga, it's just this physical thing, not looking at everything else involved with the practice. Let's take a moment right here. I have to hit the button. Okay. So Amy, this is hard.
Is it? Okay, what do you want to ask me?
So, I know it's soon, but I think I've been pushing Amy a lot since she started teaching to teach more and to do more because she really has studied with amazing teachers and knows so much. So I would often say, like way back in the day, Amy, go teach workshops. Amy, go do this. Amy, put yourself out there. And part of the reason, like part of my sneaky reasons for doing this is really still that same push, like, do it, get out there, or start in some little way, because I know that whatever it is, like, you have the stuff to share. And you're a great teacher.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I will, if the opportunity presents itself.
Right.
I do want to pursue bringing the yoga, bringing a more holistic approach to aging and healthcare.
Right. So let's stop there, and we'll kind of rewind a little bit. So before you moved to Arizona, tell everyone what you were doing, like the work that the work. And even though I say I want to push Amy into yoga, everything that Amy was doing professionally in the grand scheme of yoga was yoga really in its purest form.
Yeah.
Back to you. Tell us about your profession.
That's it's service, it's my dharma, it's to help the world, to help people. I then went on, I've always worked in the senior fields and aging, and then went on to get a master's in organizational dynamics. And to me, that's like social work for the organization, or for systems change, like changing the systems within organizations, and ultimately the interconnectedness of our world and the economic system, the geriatric system, the healthcare system, and what is it really but yoga? It's the bringing together of all of these different systems to one. They all make up one, and that's yoga. So yeah, my background is in aging, obviously. And I was director of healthy aging and food access at United Way. That was an amazing opportunity to start age-friendly communities in the Lehigh Valley, really invest in the programs and organizations that are helping the seniors to live at home safely and independently. And yeah, so I don't know, since I've been in Arizona, really what my next step will be, what that's going to look like here. Since my father has passed, now I have some time, and I've thought that I could get really clear on what the next steps would be during this time, during the last 10 months of caring for my father. In fact, it's been a lot more difficult to find, me and listen to my call, except for today. This morning I woke up, yesterday was a pretty rough day, just feeling lost. Today I woke up and I still, was questioning my purpose in life on this planet. And I got a random email from a university about their Master's in Public Health program. So I applied online, and we'll see. And that, to me, might be a next step. That makes a lot of sense. I've entertained the idea in the past, and it's a way of, uniting holistic health and approaches to our thoughts around aging, our thoughts around healthcare, to, public health, and not only in our country, but in the world.
Was that the mission, like, I'm going to be a social worker to work with this community?
No, it was broad. Like I said, I was a dance major initially, and I was in a class, and a fellow dancer came into the class, and she had just come from a social work class. He was talking about it, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's amazing. There's a class about that. Like, I don't know. I was clueless in high school or about college and what I could do with my life, and I was like, that's a major. You can major in helping people, and I was like, all right. Then at that point, I switched the next semester. I switched to social work, and my first internship was at Philadelphia Corporation for Aging. I was an investigator with Older Adult Protective Services, and that was my senior year. I knew just from that internship that that's what I needed to do, because I could not I could not stomach that there was aging abuse, neglect in society, that people would exploit seniors and just use them for their money, and keep them in a room and not feed them, and let them get bed sores and not clean them, and just horrendous things that I saw. Did that for 4 years, and then needed a break, and went to an internal spot to care for seniors, which was a nursing home, and saw that most of the people that were there didn't need to be there, that they could live independently in the community with support. And found the PACE program, the program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, and I was there for 8 years, and then I went to a PACE program. It's a program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, and it is a holistic, essentially, in theory, on how to care for seniors and their support system, allowing caregivers to remain a part of society and the economic system by working, and while their senior gets the care that they need, the health care, the transportation, the home care, all of it.
So here's a really fun, quick story about Amy's first job at.
It was a little stressful. I know.
Yeah. So way back then, that's when Amy and I were kind of just gotten together, and I wasn't a fan of the job. I'm like, you're going to really scary, dangerous places. But this one of the most beautiful things that has ever entered into my life came from that job. I was home one day, and there was a knock on the door, and I opened the door, and it was Amy standing there. We lived together, and she's standing there holding this like 6-8 week old puppy, and he was the cutest thing, and she handed him to me and said, bathe him, love him, we're not keeping him, and then left. And literally, she didn't even walk in the house. She was just like, bathe him, love him, we're not keeping him. She turned around and went back to work. And this was before cell phones, so I couldn't then call or send a text and be like, what is happening? So she went back to work. I gave the dog a bath, laid on the couch, put the dog on my chest. I started making some food, and as I was making food, the name Timber popped into my head, and he was standing down at my feet, and I looked down and I was like, your name is Timber, and you're my dog. And Amy got home from work that day. I'm like, yeah, we're not getting rid of him. And Timber was in my life for 16 years. I'll put a picture of Timber and Bella. Bella was our other dog. I'll drop pictures of them in here. But that gift of that dog was, and he was my boy. I love Stella. I love my Stella girl. But Timber was my 16 years. And it was, whew. But anyway, that was the best thing that came from that job. The best the best thing ever.
Not my experience or anything. Just,
Yeah, who cares? Who cares about the people that she saved?
yeah.
That dog. That dog. Because the dog probably saved me.
Save the dog.
Yes. So staying on this topic of the elderly, because you totally, I mean, you lived your life, but I also feel you sacrificed a lot as well, taking care of your parents. Amy's an only child. Her parents were a little bit older, and she really took on that role of helping them, and then helping them transition out of this dimension into their next realm. What can we do to help the aging community?
Yeah. Well, so I mentioned earlier about age-friendly communities. It's not specifically for aging. It's what it really means to be an age-friendly community is to live in a society or a community or a town that all people of all ages can not only live but thrive. So, it's a more of a holistic way of thinking about, communities. And I mean, usually if it's an age-friendly community, it's going to benefit a pregnant mom who needs to push a stroller. It's going to benefit someone who's disabled who needs to cross a street. Maybe the light needs to be a little bit longer, the extended lights. Maybe there needs to be something in the middle of a large crosswalk where they could rest. Signage, are they easily viewed and understandable? For seniors, are we making grocery stores accessible and easy to access? Like, not having to take 9 routes of public transportation to get a head of broccoli. It's getting that fresh food, access to fresh food, being able to pay your bills and the bank and pharmacies. Are our pharmacies, do they all deliver? Is that accessible to seniors? It's just a way of thinking about how we set up our communities.
Right.
And value seniors, and not just seniors, but like I said, everybody who might have some kind of limitation or, a challenging situation.
So it would be best if we actually functioned more as like a tribe and cared and really cared for the elders of our community, as opposed to really just sending them off someplace.
Right. How do we, are there opportunities for seniors after they retire to, stay engaged, to keep their brain active, to keep their body active, to interact, to give back, to share their wisdom?
Jumping all over the place with this one. What teachers have impacted you?
My first teacher, when I went back to yoga in 2001, was Shivadas at Yoga on Main, who made it really simple, who made yoga simple for me to understand, because yoga is not very simple, but it was very simple. He has a very methodical way of teaching that I appreciated, that I needed, because I had a tendency to be like really big picture all the time and try to make sense of it all at once. And, that's not how he taught. It was very, hey, you're here now on the mat, breathing, slowing it down to the point where that was the point. We're at the point. And that was me getting yoga, really understanding what it was and what it meant to be present. David Newman with Bhakti. I never had chanted a Ram in my life until he had us sitting in a circle chanting Sita Ram, and that changed my understanding of vibration and my heart opening in a way that I didn't even understand, and I still probably don't. Ed Zablo, of course, with, I wanted to write a book for many years.
Right, Ed said. I totally forgot about Ed said.
Because I just remember taking his Vedic studies class for the first time and sitting directly in front of him and trying to absorb everything that the man shared and all of his wisdom and knowledge. And I was just made myself a sponge. But years then of going back, I still go back to yesterday. I took out his book, The Breath of the Eternal, and was looking it over. It's been years. I still am learning from him. And then Paul Alex, who taught me Vedic chant, just a little bit. And the sutras, I really have come to understand the sutras through him. And just the little bit that I studied with him has made a huge impact on my understanding of yoga.
I will try. I don't know how many of those teachers that she just listed.
Ayurvedic yoga. Hold on.
Oh, hold on. Back it up. Boop, boop.
What did you just say?
I said, hold on. Back it up. Boop, boop, boop. Like a...
Bethel, yes. Bethel Anurada. Who was a friend of yoga in Maine and was my Vedic astrologer. And brought Ayurveda and yoga together for me in a way that brought Ayurveda, which could somehow be like heady, brought it into my body, and I understood it through the yoga postures. I never understood that somebody could really embody so much understanding and patience and love as she was able to. And just wisdom, and so Bethel too.
Bethel. I am going to pop a picture of Bethel in here because she also was a huge influence on me, not in that same way, but just I felt that I could be, when she came to town, I felt that I could, without even realizing, be my truest Piscean self and float off into the ethers and ask her the craziest questions about anything from Vedic astrology to were the Mayans right? Are we all going to die in 2012? But she just had this way, like I felt there was a lot of times back then that I didn't feel that I was like there. Not that I wasn't there, but I was like, I've always felt at that time that I was standing on the outside looking in. And when Bethel came to town, I felt like she kind of, without physically doing it, almost like in a spiritual way, she would grab me by the hand and pull me in. And in the beginning, it would really, like, if Bethel was going to be here, I would go to events that Bethel would be at because I would just feel comfortable knowing that she was in the room. And like, she just had this way of really just making me feel comfortable. So comfortable that the first time I ever played my guitar and sang any kind of mantra, it was at a Shiva Das birthday party. Maybe it was his 50th. So I don't remember where it was.
It was at Ronnie and Stephen Graf's house.
But I played my guitar and sang the Maha Mantra the wrong way. When I even said, I'm like, I don't even think this is the right way, but it came out today when I was playing my guitar. And I would have never have done it, but like, I just felt like it was okay because she was there.
Yeah. Right. She was the Divine Mother.
She really was. She had some amazing energy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but best of luck. So, thank you for doing this, Amy.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. And you know, I've been asking everyone, like, if you want to share a little piece of something to keep people going. In the beginning of this, I started to say something to keep people going, following their bliss or whatever. And then, you know, when I talked to Robert the other night, also on Skype like this, it came out. This was like something just to keep people going. Like, not like this is how I follow my bliss, but just to keep going.
Yeah. There has to be, you know, something, even if it's, you know, like, you know, putting on makeup, you know, that makes you feel good. I know, like yesterday, I said yesterday was a rough day for me. I was just really feeling confused and uninspired, and just knowing that I wanted to do something. You know, I'm looking at jobs, thinking, you know, what is my next purpose in life, and not really coming up with anything very clear. And I think because I've been trying too hard. But, you know, I know people have said it in the past, but don't give up. Like, keep finding that little bit of inspiration. Like, yesterday I opened a book, I said, and, you know, was reading from the Breath of the Eternal, from Ed Zadlow's training manual. That helped me. It reminded me of what I get excited about. Just sitting and doing a little tiny yoga practice, whatever you can muster, you know, lying in Shavasana, feeling your breath. You know, just keep investing in you, because it really is the only, you know, you that you'll get in this lifetime. And, you know, time, this moment, you know, yes, it's eternal, but the body isn't, you know, and it's aging, the body's aging, you know, we're all aging. And there will be, you know, tomorrow you won't be able to do what you did yesterday. And I mean, that's been a very interesting observation for me. You know, my yoga practice, of course, has changed as I've aged. I used to be able to do X, Y, and Z, and it's, yeah, a little bit of lack of practice, but also my body has changed. So, you know, really take advantage of the moment and what it offers you. I think we forget, you know, look around in your life and see what is there to remind you of what is important to you. I have teacups sitting on the windowsill. Like, each one of those teacups holds a memory, you know, that reminds me of some joyous time or sweet time in my life. So, you know, finding the little things, you know, paying attention to the little things in each moment. My, I think, final word of inspiration.
Well, that's beautiful. Beautiful. So thank you again. Thank you so much for really everything that you've brought into my life. I really am forever grateful.
I know, and I am grateful for you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
You're welcome. So,
in the world, there's a lot of lives. Beautiful.
Thank you. So that's 30 days of inspiration, actually 29. You got to see me cry at the end, so that's pretty neat. Didn't think that would happen. And I'll be back on Monday, and I'm the guest on Monday with a surprise host. So please watch that. And I'm going to keep this going once a week, talking to people that I find inspiring, that maybe you find inspiring. And if there's someone out there that you think I should talk to, that you think is inspiring and you think would make a good guest, please connect us. And we'll see what happens. I'm just going to keep doing it. If people watch, they watch. If they don't, they don't. But I enjoy it, so I'm going to keep on doing it. So have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday for the official ending of 30 Days of Inspiration. Amy Angelo, thank you so much. Amy, where can they find you? Are you on any social medias?
Not really. Facebook, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
All right, I will put her little things right there for everyone. Have a wonderful night, everyone.